In this video, we're going to learn about writing the equation of a higher degree polynomial in factored form. So in the video, we're going to talk specifically just about how to use the graph, and then that really can be applied to a couple different scenarios, which we'll kind of explore it in class. I'm going to do this one. This is part B. This is the cubic, and then I'm going to have you do the parabola just to give you a simpler one to try. So here, basically, we've already got the equation here, and we're trying to turn it into factored form. And so right here, I can see that the scale factor is 4, so that's not going to change. So if I'm talking about factored form, 4 can stay in front of my factors. And then all I need to do on the graph is look for the roots. Here, here, and here. So -3, -2, and +3. And what I know is that that means that the roots are x plus 3, or the factors, I'm sorry, x plus 2 and x minus 3, because those are the values, those are the three factors that are going to make the graph equal 0, because we're looking for the points where x is going to be equal to 0. And something that you could do if you're unsure about it is you could go through and multiply everything out and make sure that it matches. Another thing you could do is plug a point in. So for example, you could plug in an x of 0. Let's say if we wanted to find the y-intercept, you could plug in an x of 0 here and the same x over here and make sure that the y's come out the same to ensure that you did that correctly. Okay, so that's our first example, pretty simple, basic. Go ahead and do the parabola. I want you to pause the video, try the parabola, and then press play when you're ready to go through it. Okay, so I can see from the equation that this has a scale factor of 1. I see that the roots are -1 and +2, so that means that factored form is y equals x plus 1 times x minus 2. And if I were to multiply that out, I should see that it actually does end up equaling that. And you might have just used your skills of factoring to do that, but the graph can also help you with that as well. All right, so time for a little more complicated. We've got two cubic functions, and we need to write the equation. We don't know what it is. Okay, so I'm going to do one, and then the other one's going to be your before class question, because I don't think that your notes, if I'm remembering, your notes don't actually have one. So this one right here, the second one, this is going to be your before class question that you need to do yourself. Okay, this one right here I'm going to do. So here's the basic idea. It's a cubic. We know that, and so that means we're going to have our three factors, and they do give us the y-intercept here, which is going to help us. I'll explain how that'll help in a minute. So we know that our equation is going to be of the form a times x minus the first root, x minus the second root, and x minus the third root. Okay? And so then all we have to do is just plug our roots in. And we don't know our scale factor, which is what we're going to find. So we're going to do x plus 2.5 for that first one, x minus 3.2 for this one, and x minus 7.5 for the last one. Okay? And then what you're going to do to find your scale factor is you're going to plug a point that you know in to x and y and then solve for a. We've done this before, but sometimes it's easy to forget that you can always do that. And it doesn't necessarily have to be the y-intercept. It could be any nice point along the graph, but since they had given us this one, we're going to use that. So 0, 240. So I'm going to plug 240 in the y, and I'm going to put 0 in the x spot. So 0 plus 2.5 times 0 minus 3.2 times 0 minus 7.5. Okay, so really I'm going to have 240 equals a times 2.5 times -3.2 times -7.5. Okay, so I'm going to find out what that equals when I multiply those. So 2.5 times -3.2 times -7.5, that's 60. So 240 equals 60 times a. And then I'll just divide by 60 to get my scale factor a solved for, which should give me 4. Okay? And so then the final answer for my equation will be y equals 4 times x plus 2.5 times x minus 3.2 times x minus 7.5. So don't forget to go back and write the actual equation of the function. And something you could do is go on to Desmos and type this in there and double check the graph, or if it asks you for in general form, you would FOIL the first two and then FOIL this, and then distribute this with the third one, and then multiply everything by 4, and you'd end up with your general form. Okay, so I'd like you to try the same process with this other cubic function before next class.